Hey, welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because today we are talking about a moment that brought millions of people around the world to tears. And honestly, once you hear the full story, you'll completely understand why. One movement, one bow, one single second that was enough to prove to the entire world why Park Jimin is not just an idol, but a genuinely extraordinary human being. Today, we are diving deep into the moment when Jimin of BTS bowed with deep, heartfelt respect to an elderly fan standing in the middle of a massive crowd. And the reaction from ARMY was absolutely explosive. We're going to break down everything. Who was that fan? Why did that simple gesture go viral across every platform? What did ARMY say? And why is this the kind of moment that could only ever come from someone who carries real sincerity in their heart? So get comfortable. Grab your tissues if you need them, because this video is going to warm your heart in a way that not many things can these days. Let's get into it. To truly understand why this moment hit so hard, we need to go back to June 2025 first, because that's where the emotional foundation of this entire story was laid. June 11th, 2025 is a date that every single ARMY burned into their memory the moment it happened. After 18 long months serving as active duty soldiers in the 5th Infantry Division Artillery Brigade of the South Korean Army, Park Jimin and Jungkook officially completed their mandatory military service. They had enlisted together on December 12, 2023, going in together, coming out together. Just another reminder of the unbreakable bond these two have always shared. Even though there was no official public ceremony planned, thousands of ARMY had already flooded the area around Yongkyon Public Stadium in Gyeonggi Province since before sunrise. Not hundreds of people, thousands. From Korea, from Japan, from Portugal, from Brazil, from Turkey. There were even fans who had arrived a full month early just to secure their spot. Think about that for a moment. A month away from home in a foreign country, all for the chance to see their idol step through a gate for just a few minutes. And when that gate finally opened and Jimin appeared, dressed in full military uniform, that familiar shy smile on his face, holding a bouquet of flowers, the crowd erupted. Screams filled the air. Tears streamed down faces everywhere. The tension that had been building between the media and the fans and the crowd instantly dissolved into an ocean of overwhelming joy and emotion. Jimin stepped forward and spoke directly to everyone who had come. His voice was calm, but full of genuine feeling as he said, "There are so many fans here today, and I am truly grateful. From COVID to the military, it's been such a long time. But thank you so much for waiting. I will prepare great things to show you going forward." And then he added something that very few global superstars would ever think to say publicly. He looked out at the crowd and said, "If I may say something to the people of this country, I now realize how difficult military service really is. Many people go through so much hardship. So if you see a soldier on the street, please say kind words to them." Those words were not a scripted PR statement. That was a man who had just lived through something genuinely hard, speaking from a place of real understanding and real empathy. And that's when people started to see it, this new version of Jimin. Deeper, more grounded, more aware of the world around him and the people in it. Now, let's get to the moment that you're all here for. In one of the occasions when BTS was meeting fans, whether it was during the emotional discharge gathering, during the massive Arirang World Tour concerts at Goyang Stadium in April 2026, or during one of the many intimate fan events that followed their comeback, Jimin did something that stopped everyone in their tracks. Picture this. There are thousands of people in the crowd. ARMY bombs are glowing purple in every direction. People are screaming, crying, waving, jumping, doing everything they possibly can to catch even 1 second of eye contact with their idol. The energy is electric and almost overwhelming. And then Jimin's eyes land on someone completely different from everyone else around them. An elderly woman, a grandmother, or perhaps someone's beloved mother who had grown old gracefully, standing in the middle of that enormous, energetic crowd. Her face was lined with the kind of wrinkles that only come from decades of laughter and life. Her hands gripped her ARMY bomb tightly, the purple glow reflecting in her eyes. She wasn't screaming. She wasn't jumping. She didn't have the physical strength to compete for attention the way the younger fans around her could. She simply stood there, smiling softly, looking at Jimin with eyes full of a love that had been building for years. And Jimin saw her. He stopped, in the middle of everything. With thousands of people around him and 1,000 things demanding his attention, he stopped. And then, without saying a single word, he bowed. Deeply, fully. The kind of bow that in Korean culture carries the weight of genuine, wholehearted respect. The kind of bow a child gives to their parents. The kind of bow a student gives to a teacher who changed their life. The kind of bow that says without words, "I see you. Your presence here matters. I honor you." The camera caught it. Someone in the crowd recorded it. And within hours, that video had spread to every corner of the internet. Twitter and X absolutely exploded. TikTok was flooded with reaction videos. Weverse was overwhelmed with ARMY posts from fans who could not hold back their tears. Multiple hashtags about Jimin shot straight to worldwide trending almost simultaneously. But here's the question worth sitting with for a moment. Why? Why does one simple bow, something that takes less than 3 seconds, cause that kind of global reaction? To really answer that, you need to understand a bit about Korean culture and what bowing actually means in that context. In Korea, bowing, or jheop, is not a casual formality. It is one of the deepest expressions of respect, gratitude, and acknowledgement that one person can offer another. The deeper the bow, the more sincere the feeling behind it. It is a full-body statement. It says, "I recognize your worth and I am humbling myself in front of you because you deserve that." When a global superstar, someone whose name is recognized from Seoul to Sao Paulo, from Tokyo to Jakarta, from New York to Lagos, bows that deeply to an elderly fan standing in a crowd, that is not etiquette. That is a declaration of values. Jimin was saying clearly, "You matter. The effort it took for you to be here at this age matters. I see you among all these thousands of people, and I want you to know that I see you." And the reason ARMY reacted so powerfully is because they truly know, that this was not performed for the camera. This was not a PR move. This was not choreographed. This is simply who Park Jimin is. This is a man who, long before he was famous, was known among those close to him for his genuine warmth toward people older than himself. There are countless small moments captured over the years, helping a young child whose hat had fallen, stepping aside with a respectful bow to let an elderly person pass, speaking with patience and kindness to fans who were visibly overwhelmed. None of those moments were staged. None of them went through a publicist. They happened because that is his character. Even fellow idols have noticed it for years. Byungju of TXT once made fans both laugh and well up with emotion when, during a live broadcast, he bowed respectfully to a screen simply because Jimin appeared on it. In an industry that takes hierarchy and respect very seriously, Jimin is widely regarded as someone whose respect is never just lip service. It is lived and practiced every single day. And what makes this even more powerful is the fact that it flows in both directions. Jimin respects others genuinely, and in return, people, fans, colleagues, staff, and strangers alike, feel that respect as something real rather than something performed. Now let's talk about how ARMY around the world responded, because the reactions were something truly special. Within 24 hours of the video spreading, comments flooded in from every corner of the globe. An ARMY from Indonesia wrote, "I already knew Jimin was genuine, but every time a moment like this happens, my heart is still completely unprepared. He really is the kindest person on this planet." A fan from Brazil shared, "That grandmother probably never expected to receive a moment that precious. Jimin made sure she felt seen among thousands of people. That's what real love looks like." A Korean ARMY reflected on it with quiet admiration, saying something along the lines of, "Is there another idol besides Jimin who would bow that deeply to an elderly person? He was truly raised well." And perhaps most movingly, an ARMY who identified herself as 55 years old, writing from the Philippines, said, "I am not a young fan anymore. And sometimes I wonder if BTS is still something that belongs to people my age." But this moment answered everything. Jimin makes every generation feel like they are held. That last one is worth staying with for a second, because it gets to the heart of why this story matters beyond just the BTS fandom. So much of pop culture is designed for the young and the fast and the loud. It moves at a speed that naturally starts to exclude people as they get older. But Jimin, in that one moment, sent a signal to everyone watching. Age is not a barrier to being seen. Showing up with whatever strength you have is enough. You don't have to be the loudest or the youngest or the most visible person in the room to deserve respect. That is a message that transcends fandoms and music genres and language barriers. That is just humanity at its best. And this moment didn't come from nowhere. It was the result of a relationship between Jimin and his fans that had been carefully and genuinely nurtured over more than a decade. Even in the months before he enlisted in the military, Jimin had said openly, "My goal is to maintain everything, including building an even better relationship with ARMY." He didn't say that to generate headlines. He said it because he meant it. And the evidence of how much he meant it is in every small moment like this one. Even while inside the military barracks, with extremely limited access to the outside world, his connection to the people who loved his music never faded. And the moment he stepped back into civilian life, he didn't wait. He went straight to the fans, not just through music, not just through concerts, but through exactly these kinds of real, unscripted human moments. On his 30th birthday in October 2025, Jimin held a Weverse Live just for ARMY. No elaborate production. No big announcement. Just him, sitting quietly, speaking from the heart. He told them, "I am not someone who usually celebrates birthdays, but thank you for wishing me a happy birthday. I can't believe this day has come again." And then he talked about wanting to live life fully before getting older. Such deeply human words from someone who had already achieved everything the entertainment industry has to offer. Words that reminded everyone watching that beneath all the lights and the stages and the global fame, there is simply a person trying to understand his life, just like the rest of us. Then came 2026, the year every ARMY on the planet had been counting down to. BTS returned as a complete group. The album Erarang was released on March 20th, 2026. The comeback concert was held live at Gwangwoman Square in Seoul and broadcast exclusively on Netflix to the entire world. The world tour kicked off at Goyang Stadium in April 2026, spanning 34 cities with more than 70 shows through to March 2027. At the Gwangwoman concert, standing on a stage bathed in purple light with tens of thousands of ARMY in front of him under the Seoul night sky, Jimin said, "ARMY, we finally meet again. I feel so moved and so grateful to be able to say this in front of all of you. All 7 of us are so happy to be able to meet you again." That was not a rehearsed line. That was the truth coming out of a man who had waited as long as his fans had, who had missed the stage, missed the connection, missed exactly this. And in the middle of a comeback of that scale, an album that entered charts globally, a concert live streamed to millions, a world tour that sold out in minutes. The most talked about moment on social media was still a single, quiet bow to one elderly woman in the crowd. Because that is what people are hungry for. Not just spectacle, not just hits and choreography and production budgets. People are hungry for realness. For the feeling that the person on that stage genuinely cares about the person standing in the crowd. For the reassurance that in a world that moves fast and discards things quickly, some people still slow down, still look carefully, still see what others walk past. Jimin didn't have to bow. No one asked him to. There was no stage direction telling him to find the oldest person in the crowd and acknowledge them. No manager whispered in his ear. No social media team had planned it as a content strategy. He did it because he looked up. He saw a human being who had made an enormous effort to be there, and his instinct was to honor that. That instinct is not something you can learn from a stylist or a vocal coach or a company training program. It is something you either carry in you or you don't. And Park Jimin has always carried it. For those of you who have been following Jimin for years, this video is probably not a surprise. You already knew. You've seen it in 100 smaller moments over the years, and this is just the one that happened to reach the whole world at once. For those of you who are discovering BTS or discovering Jimin through this video, welcome. You have found something genuinely worth your time. Because at the end of the day, music is music. Concerts are concerts. Fame comes and goes. But character? Character stays. And the reason millions of people across every age, every culture, every language have connected with BTS and continue to come back year after year is not just because the music is good. It is because the people making it are good. And moments like this one, a single bow to one elderly woman in a sea of thousands, are the proof. In a world that is often too busy, too noisy, and too focused on who is the most visible, there is something incredibly healing about watching someone choose to slow down and say, "I see you." That is what Jimin did. That is what he has always done. And that is why Army will never stop showing up for him, no matter how many years pass, no matter how the world changes around them. That's it for today's video. If this story moved you, or if you have a Jimin moment of your own that you want to share, drop it in the comments below. I would genuinely love to read every single one. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with every Army you know. Until next time, Purple You, Purple Heart.